I think that the physical presence of the library remains important despite the increasingly online and digital learning. In the end, we inhabit a physical world of real materials, of stone and slate and wood, materials that are depleted and that we can't afford to squander.
My name's Joanna Bowering and I'm the college librarian. When I first came to Exeter, I was actually a little bit secretly thrilled with the library. The architecture is wonderful, you know, it's a beautiful space visually to work in.
Within this place, it is you studying now, but at the same time, 100 years ago, it was someone as famous as Tolkien that was also struggling, also reading, can just feel the spirit of that and be inspired.
This building was built in 1857 by George Gilbert Scott, who also built the college chapel.
Gilbert Scott is one of the most prolific architects of the 19th century, so to some extent it might be easier to talk about which buildings he didn't build rather than which he did, because there's barely a town in England that doesn't have a Victorian church by Gilbert Scott. He was a giant of the Gothic revival.
It has been very little changed since it was built in 1857. So we still have a lot of the original architectural features here. So we have these glorious Gilbert Scott original bookcases. It's a twisting stone turret staircase that takes you up to the top floor. And then you suddenly come out at the top in this very large vaulted room, huge vaulted wooden ceiling. And it has a sort of wow factor to it.
When you walk upstairs, I think that's when it all hit me about the magic of this place. I was just hooked, let's say, from the first day I saw it.
A significant amount of money was spent on the building in its original phase of construction, but since then everything's been done in quite a utilitarian way. So new radiators have been put in with the pipes surface mounted. There are these suspended fluorescent lights. The flooring, which is obviously worn away in places, has been replaced with a lino.
We still have the original Victorian heating system. The electrical system is not really fit for purpose.
One of the biggest challenges is the staircase. It makes it inaccessible to all the people who cannot use the stairs.
One of the more significant interventions was in the annex of the library, and this was originally a single lofty reading room, but in 1957 a floor was put into that space to create two chambers, and that cut in half all the tall windows to one side of the building. If you care about a place, you have to look after it, you have to continually invest in it, in maintaining it.
And then this is My name is Alan Dempsey. I am the founder and director of Next Architects, who are the team leading the restoration and refurbishment of Exeter College Library. This is where the blinds were going. We went to great pains to really understand the college and their brief and the restrictions around the refurbishment of the building. And we came up with a solution that was really quite sensitive and talked about taking out more than we were adding, in a way, to really restore the building to Scott's original vision.
There's so much historic character already here. It really required a sort of thoughtfulness and a sensitivity to that. And in Nex, I think Exeter found an architect with those qualities.
The main aims are threefold, really. In the first instance, it's about acting as stewards for the building, for its long-term future, restoring its fabric. Secondly, it's really about improving access and widening accessibility to all levels of the building in all areas. And I think finally, of course, there's an opportunity to really think through how libraries are used both now and the future. For me, working on projects like this, I think it's the challenge. I think it's the challenge of, on the one hand, uncovering the history of a building, and I think it's adding to that. It's adding to that sense of change and impact and stewardship, if you like, of seeing a building as a living history rather than an artefact.
I think one of the most heartening things about the history of Exeter College Library is that it was originally built for the fellows of the college a very small group of men of a very particular class background, and since that time the story has been one of ever widening and increasing access. We stand in a current of ever widening participation in these special spaces.